A long time ago, in a country far, far away, there was a village. Because this village sat at the bottom of the sea, it collected minerals. It collected minerals because it wanted to become an important mining area. No, the village wasn't yet a village because it hadn't been discovered. It wanted to become an important mining area so that many thousands of miners would descend upon it. It hadn't been discovered because dinosaurs danced on the village square and they would have eaten anybody who came near. It wanted many thousands of miners to descend upon it so there would be good business for the pub. The dinosaurs danced because it was chilly and the pub hadn't yet opened. No, because of the shifting geographic plates, the village, which wasn't yet a village, was close to the equator. Because it was close to the equator, it was warm and tropical. Because it was warm and tropical, the dinosaurs danced a tango. No, they didn't dance tango because tango hadn't been invented. Then a meteorite fell from the sky for no reason. Then there was an ice age for no reason. The tectonic plates shifted again for no reason and travelled north again for no reason. And because of this, the dinosaurs died. All of this happened for no reason. No, God sent down the meteorite because he got fed up watching the dinosaurs always fighting in the village square. Because of the ice age and the sea levels rising and falling, there is now limestone, sandstone, and shale. Because of the limestone, sandstone, and shale, there is a Geo Trail. No, there is a Geo Trail because the mines closed and left behind post-industrial heritage. No, there is a Geo Trail because the government funded it. No, there is a Geo Trail because Brussels funded it. One day, someone discovered lead under the village. When it became profitable to extract the lead from the ground, mines were sunk. Because there were jobs going, miners came from Scotland, from Cornwall, and from Italy. The Italian miners came to the village for the jobs, but they also came to improve the food. Because they didn't get enough money to buy Italian food, they would have been better off staying at home. No, these Italian miners were lucky because they didn't care about food nor weather, they only cared about money. Because of the Great Depression, the price of lead sank like a stone and never recovered. Because it was no longer profitable to extract lead from the ground, the mines closed. Because the mines closed, the miners lost their jobs. Some chose to leave. Because some of the miners had been in the village too long, they didn't have home to go back to. Some chose to remain. And some of the miners were at a loss what to do next. So they went to Newcastle and learnt to speak Geordie. The British went to America to give the Red Indians blankets contaminated with a pox. No, they are called Native Americans. No, that's just political correctness. Because of the British pox, a great many of them, whatever they're called, were wiped out, and America became America. Grey squirrels were brought from America in 1876 to give British red squirrels a pox. No, they were brought here because they were cute. They had big, bushy tails. Because of the American pox, many British squirrels have died. The village is on a key strategic mountain on the front line of the battle between the Greys and the Reds. Because the Greys now outnumber the Reds, they are no longer considered cute. And they're killed. No, they're not killed because they're no longer cute. They're killed because they're American, even though the Americans are at least in parts British. No, they are killed because they are not a native species. They're not a native species because they weren't here in 1815. But 1815, it's arbitrary. No, in 1815, we defeated the French at the Battle of Waterloo and established our global economic and cultural supremacy. But the squirrels had nothing to do with Napoleon. In 1815, we commanded the greatest empire known to man. No, the British Empire was bigger in the 1920s. And incidentally, who is this we? Were you there? No, but my great-great-grandfather was, and we were greater in 1815 because by 1920 the grey squirrels had arrived on our native shores. Because the grey squirrels were on our native shores in 1920, it was the beginning of the end. Therefore, if you see a grey squirrel, phone this number, 07817 634 436. We'll arrange a drone strike or laser-guided bombs. This is an existential battle for survival. Like Jean-Paul Sartre in a fist fight? No, like Britain fighting Hitler's Nazi Germany. Then let's hope the Americans come to save our asses again. Red squirrels will become extinct in this country if we don't act now. So this time, the Greys have come to kick our asses. We cannot afford to sit back and simply do nothing. Then we need the Russians to come and save our little red asses. Just 20 years is all we have. Or the Chinese to come and save our ass. No, a prince will come and he will save our ass. the young people left the village because there were more jobs elsewhere. And besides, there was also a wider choice of boyfriends and girlfriends. Because the young people left the village, the school was shut. Because there was a wider choice of boyfriends and girlfriends, those who left played the field much longer. Because the school was shut, the village fell into decline and house prices fell. Because they played the field much longer, they went on far too many Club 1830 holidays. Because house prices were low, new people from the south and from the west moved into the village. Because they went on far too many Club 1830 holidays, they grew to like Spain and dreamt of one day retiring in the sun. Because these new people were younger, they started families, but because the school was shut, the children had to be driven to school every day. Because they grew up, got proper jobs, they stopped going on 1830 holidays, and they got mortgages. Because the children had to be driven to school, the roads got busier. Because they got stuck in traffic too often, they complained a lot about their jobs and about their life in general. Because of pressure on housing increased, easy credit became available, house prices went through the roof. Because house prices went through the roof, they sold up, took early retirement, moved to Spain, and were never seen again. Because house prices went through the roof, the banks made a killing. No, the banks were providing an essential service in a well-regulated market. Because of this well-regulated market in which the banks made a killing, no more young families could afford to move into the village. Yes, but because of modern fuel-efficient cars, the commuter belt expanded into the village. Because the commuter belt expanded into the village, people migrated in from as far as Newcastle, house prices went up, and the roads got even busier. Because young people could not afford to move into the village got older and more comfortable. Because the village got older and more comfortable, the village became gentrified. Because the village became gentrified, it needs to get a lot worse again before it can repopulate itself with younger people. The village is waiting for Syrian refugees to repopulate it. No, the village is waiting for normal, hard-working families. Hard-working families. Salt of the earth, clean as a whistle, spick and span, regular as clockwork, gunning for England families. The real people, the ordinary people, the decent people. The British princes came to the village to shoot the birds. The British princes came to the village to shoot the birds because their family had been coming for many years and they couldn't see why not to keep on coming. The Dutch prince came to the village because the British princes came. The British princes came by helicopter. Because the British princes came by helicopter, the Dutch prince also came by helicopter because he didn't want to be outdone. No, the Dutch prince came because the Belgian artist came. The Belgian artist came because the German artist came, and neither of the two of them could afford to come by helicopter. No, the artists and the princes quite definitely came independently. There could be no relationship between the two of them. No, the German prince came because the Belgian artist had produced an outstanding work of art. A take no prisoners, hang on by the seat of your pants, roller coaster of a painting. No, 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 no! There are no German princes anymore. They were abolished in 1918. Because the German princes had to be abolished, the men from the village went to Belgium in 1915. Because they went to Belgium in 1915, 4 of them never came back. The British men went to Belgium so the German princes couldn't come to the village by helicopter. No, the British men went to Belgium so the German artists would have to take the bus. Because of global warming, bird migratory patterns are changing. No, global warming is a conspiracy theory. It's freezing, and this summer has been rubbish. No, this summer has been rubbish because of global warming. Right. Because it's warming up, it's getting colder. Because of gentrification, artists' migratory patterns are also changing. Because artists' migratory patterns are changing, they're moving to Brussels, Berlin, and even China. No, because artists are moving to these places, Brussels, Berlin, and China are becoming gentrified. Because the princes and the bankers are descending into the village by helicopter, there is global warming. No, because artists are flying in from Brussels, Berlin, and China, there's global warming. Because of generous city bonuses, more and more bankers want to shoot the birds, and quite possibly shoot the artists too. Because more bankers want to shoot the birds, the heather is being burned so they have nowhere to hide. Because the heather is being burnt, there is global warming. No, global warming is because of burning fossil fuels, cutting down trees, and because of bovine flatulence. Because of global warming, there is a battle for resources in the Middle East. Because there is a battle for resources in the Middle East, there is ISIS. Because there is ISIS, there are Syrian refugees. Because there are Syrian refugees, there is Brexit. Because of Brexit, there won't be money for the Geo Trail. Well, that won't be a big loss, will it? No, because of Blair and Bush, there is ISIS and Brexit, and that is a loss. ISIS are in Brussels to stop gentrification. Artists are in the village because of gentrification. No, artists are in the village in order to gentrify the village. Because artists are in the village, ISIS are coming next. No, ISIS won't come to the village because it's freezing and this summer has been rubbish. It's freezing and this summer has been rubbish because global warming isn't happening the way you want it to. And it isn't happening the way you want it to because then there wouldn't be anything left to complain about. There's always bovine flatulence. Yeah, that's true. And the Bloody Cyclists. The cyclists came to the village because of the C2C route. They came on the C2C route because it was beautiful and they didn't have to stop and think, where next? Because of all the bikes on the road, they blocked the road for the people who actually live and work in the village. No, because they stuck to the route, they avoided most of the busy roads. Yes, but because the route also uses real roads, they took up space which cars should be using. No, cars and bikes can easily share the road. Yes, but what's the point of sharing the road if you always have to drive at 30? If you don't mind me saying, you've been watching too much Jeremy Clarkson. Because they'd cycled a long way, they stopped for the night. Because they stopped for the night, they went to the pub, and because they went to the pub, they ordered beer. They ordered beer from Belgium for no reason. No. They ordered Belgian beer because they were surprised to see it in the village and they thought it was rather cool. No, they ordered Belgian beer because they're probably Dutch. Because they ordered Belgian beer, ate a meal, slept in the pub made enough money to remain open. The next morning, they set off nice and early. They had a hard time getting out of the village because of the wind, because of the rain. It was raining because of global warming. No, it was simply raining, like it always does up here. No, it was definitely raining more than usual, and it was raining because of global warming. The group's cycling holiday was getting spoiled by their arguments about the weather and the state of the roads. The group were on a cycling holiday because they wanted to get closer to nature and be kind to the environment. No, they were on a cycling holiday because they were poor. No, they had decent bikes that were made in Taiwan. I rest my case. There is no case. They were good bikes and they made their way slowly up the hill. They made their way along the C2C because the charity Sustrans set up the route. Sustrans set up the route because the UK's entire cycling network was turned over to charity in the 1990s. The cycling network was turned over to charity because bike lanes were not considered as important as real roads. Yes, but the cycling network was turned over to charity because charities sometimes deliver better results. No, the cycle network was turned over to charity so that if it turned out to be rubbish, it wasn't the government's fault. Yes, but it's better than a return to the nanny state of the 1970s when public services were crap. No, it's just another way of ripping off the taxpayer and giving us nothing in return. You're just saying this because things aren't going your way. No, I just don't want my country becoming like another mini America. Yes, and I don't want my country becoming like another mini Russia. I want my country back. Yes, and I want my life back. Because the owner of the shoot shot a crocodile in Australia, the crocodile is proudly on display in the hall. The Mayor of London came to the village to see the crocodile. No, because the Mayor of London received campaign donations from the owners of the shoot, the Mayor of London came to the village, and because he came to the village, he saw the crocodile. No, because the Mayor of London received campaign donations from the owners of the shoot, he went on to become the Mayor of London. The Prime Minister was the Prime Minister because he received campaign donations from the owners of the shoot, and a new dinosaur sits in the Natural History Museum because he received campaign donations from the owners of the shoot. No, the owners of the shoot are the owners of the shoot because they made campaign donations to the Mayor of London, the Prime Minister, and the Natural History Museum. The dinosaur in the Natural History Museum never had to make any campaign donations to anybody because he had a job for life. The dinosaur simply had to dance around the village square, eat people, and then wait a long, long time to be discovered. Also, on display in the hall is a painting of a bird. Because the painting of the bird was done by a famous Belgian surrealist, it is very valuable. Because it's very valuable, it is an investment. Because it is an investment, it is very valuable. This investment cost £2.8 million. No, the painting is not an investment, it is a very important piece of decoration. Because it is decoration, it is an integral part of the business. Because of the bird's ambiguous status, a legal case about gaining tax relief on the painting went through the courts. Because the painting, among other things, was considered a personal acquisition, HMRC rejected the appeal for £6.5 million tax relief. Because the famous Belgian surrealist never claimed tax relief, he was never a rich artist. Because he was a Belgian surrealist, he instead claimed art evokes the mystery without which the world would not exist. Yes, but he also claimed the present reeks of mediocrity and the atom bomb, for which he'd be ejected from the hall. Because the owner of the bird could think like a fish, he named his company after a giant trout. Because of insider trading, that company was fined £900 million by the French authorities. No, the £900 million fine was a politically motivated attack on a British company. You weren't there. You don't know. Because this happened in France, it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter, there's nothing more to see. And you can all go home.